In all these years,
Let's wait.
the baby kid. Can you stop? The baby kid. Yeah, he's gone.
He's saying hi.
He wanted attention. He wanted attention.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Carla, esto es My New Places y el día de hoy tengo dos invitados especiales. Tengo a Mario de Entre, Páginas y a Jennifer Johanssonn. Y hoy día le vamos a hacer una entrevista, así que espero que les guste. Si han leído alguno de sus libros, su trilogía de Insomnia o Prisionera de la Noche, deben de hacerlo si no lo han hecho. Así que vamos a empezar.
Baby, I know places we won't be found, and they'll be chasing the tails, trying to track us.
So Jennifer, we've seen with your previous book and Got Me Free that you really like thrillers, like genre thrillers. How everything started?
My very first book was not a thriller. It was kind of sci-fi maybe, and that one I didn't publish. It was kind of like my practice book, but my feedback from my writing friends was always the very high intensity, high action scenes were my best scenes. And so so then when I started to write a new book, Insomnia, I decided to do a thriller because the entire book is high intensity and high action. Yeah. So I thought, if that's where my strength is, then I should play to that. Yeah.
Some of your books are like got some specific stuff, like with mind and mind games or something like that. Did you do a previous research to write your series or other books like Got Me Free?
Yes. I didn't know I was doing research at the time, but in my university, I took a lot of classes, and part of what I studied was abnormal psychology. So I use a lot of that in my books. I was fascinated with it, and I was going toward graduating in psychology, and then I ended up switching to marketing. With psychology as a minor, because I thought it was more useful. But I was wrong. I used my psychology just as much as I used the marketing. But Insomnia, I did a lot of research on sleep deprivation and what it can do to your mind. And then with Cut Me Free, I did a lot of research on abuse and child trafficking and ways that they have of coping and trying to heal after they suffer from abuse.
Like, what things inspire you to create Piper's character? It's different from Charlotte.
In my head, the way that I have them is that Piper is the one that had to survive through all of the terrible things that she lived through, and Charlotte is her trying to come out of that darkness into a new future. Yes.
The dark and the light.
Yeah. That's how I imagine her.
In all these years, do you have a favorite review or any of your books?
So I don't usually read my reviews. I used to, but the bad reviews would make me think I was terrible and I should stop writing, and the good reviews would make me think that I could never write anything that they would love as much as they loved that book. So it wasn't. I read them in Insomnia and Paranoia, and so the people that really loved Insomnia, I was like, Paranoia will never be as good. They'll never love it as much as they love Insomnia. So I stopped reading my reviews, but one that I did see because it's from Jennifer Armentrout, who is a friend. She was at the same agency as I was at the time. She read Prisionera de la Noche, and her review was like, all in caps, it said like, this book, you guys, like, ... And that was the whole review. It made me laugh.
It was a good review.
When writing Cut Me Free, like, did you ever consider it ending differently? Or when you start writing, you already have the idea in your mind how it's going to end?
I think I had in probably the very first version of the ending. I had I think I killed Lily.
No.
Plot twist.
I think she died. And then I think my agent said, "What?" Yes. So I changed it.
Like a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm happy that we changed it. I was like, she's making a sacrifice, and no.
Not this one.
Yeah.
So, is it hard to write this kind of books, or it get easier with the time?
It kind of depends on the book. Insomnia was really fun to write, but I also didn't sleep very well while I was writing it.
Yeah.
So, and then when I got to Cut Me Free was the hardest book I've ever written. It was doing the research on it was heartbreaking, and it was I felt like I had to get I don't know if it makes any sense, but to get really far into her head to write it, and she's been through a lot, so
yeah.
it was hard, but it was also like my most rewarding. I'm very proud of the way that book turned out. Yeah.
But did you ever like consider like I can't take this anymore? I will stop looking in these topics and stop writing this book.
No, but but I have started writing other things too. It's like kind of nice to write something dark and then do something a little different in between. So I have been writing middle grade in between. It is.
That's a little bit different.
It is different, and it's actually like really funny. Like it's there's still some like intensity to it, because I don't think I can write books that don't have it. Yeah.
And this kind of book, like, you like to write
Yes,
this kind of books.
I do.
And I think that, I don't know, but it's more like good for you, or it's more fun to you to write that we to read this kind of books, because it's all in your head and you are like writing this kind of stuff, and there is, oh my god, this is so good. Do you have that kind of thoughts when you're writing, like my readers they're gonna love these kind of things?
No. No, because I don't like the drafting, like the first version of the book. I don't ever like it. It's very hard to make myself sit down and write it, because it's never as good as what I have in my head at first, and then I go back and do edits on it, and I really like the editing process, because I like to take something and polish it and make it what I wanted it to be in the first place. So I don't ever write anything and think, oh, people are gonna love this, because I'm always like, why am I still writing this? But when I am editing, then sometimes I'm like, oh, this part's good. I like this. This is good.
So, do you want, like in a few years, or I don't know, tomorrow, do you want to collaborate with other authors like Jennifer L. Armentrout or We Love Colleen Hoover? I don't know if you know her, Colleen Hoover. Do you want to collaborate with that kind of authors, or you are good with just you?
No, I actually have been really interested in collaborating with other authors. I kind of have a middle grade like further out project that I've been working on with a guy named Tyler Jolly, but I don't think he has any books down here. And it's like a sci-fi on a spaceship. Like it is really, it's really fun. And then actually, I don't know if I think Brie de Spain with the Dark Divine trilogy. She's a very good friend of mine, and so we've talked about maybe doing like a dark fantasy YA.
Please, do it.
Please.
Yeah.
We like that kind of stuff.
Right now, what is your next project? What are you working on? What is going to be out?
Or what we have to expect.
Okay. So after the row, okay. The two projects that I've been working on are one is it's a thriller still, set in the Paris catacombs. So it's about a group of people that go down into the catacombs, and they go down into the off-limits area of the catacombs, and their guide gets killed in a cave-in, and they don't know how to get out. So they're stuck down there. It's like a big maze, and they don't have any idea how to get out.
Wow! Yeah, that sounds great.
So it's that one's really fun. Very, very intense. That might be my scariest one.
So, yeah, I'm going to stop because I have to look at this recording. Please. Yes.
We're good.
Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thanks so little. You have one job cover.
You guys are funny.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so the other project is the middle grade, and it is it's so silly. Oh my god.
We want to hear about it.
It's about a girl who she's obsessed with like gothic. She's a goth girl. I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but it's like she's obsessed with Frankenstein and Dracula, and she loves wearing black, even though her grandma doesn't let her wear black. And she is very, like, her grandparents are very overprotective. They won't let her do anything, and so one night she sneaks out and she is put in danger, and she turns into a unicorn.
I wasn't expecting that.
But that's cool.
It's really kind of fun. Like she discovers that she has there's only one unicorn born there's 2 unicorns born every generation. One that controls like magic of light and of the sky and wind, and one that controls magic of the earth and of the moon, and she is the one that controls the light magic, but she loves black and she dyes her hair black, so she's a black unicorn with a white horn. Oh,
So cool.
she's pretty cool.
We are very excited for that.
Yes.
Like, for real.
Thank you. Me too.
Do you have like a publishing date?
No, not yet. I'm still
Like working on
I just barely finished the first draft, so I need to go back and do some more edits on it.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is. That's the fun part. Yes.
I like that part.
Yes.
Well, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. We are really excited about this. Do you want to say something to the camera, to your fans?
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yes, I love my fans in Peru and everywhere, but my visit to Peru has been amazing, and I'm sad to go home. But I've loved being here and the fair and all the interviews. It's been very fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Bueno, esto ha sido todo por el video de hoy. Espero que les haya gustado. No se olviden de ir al canal de Mario, que vamos a estar haciendo un juego por ahí.
Bien raro, pero bien chévere.
Sí. Y nos vemos en otro video. Adiós.
Chao.